We're back! Surprise, surprise! So I'm really pleased that you're with me and you're back with me to listen to this, because these are questions that I get every single day. All the questions that I'm answering this week. So I'm sure that if you don't know something, you're going to learn something, not one or two of them anyway. And just stick with it, because these are big subjects. The big subjects, really. So water storage and bloating, this is a subject I haven't gone over much before, but it crops up as one of the main demotivators of weight loss. So let's look at what may stop you when you get on the scales and you say that I haven't lost any weight due to water storage. Let's see what it is that could be the issue there and what happens next time, and why weight fluctuates such a lot in especially a woman's body. So we really have to believe in ourselves that we are eating well, and trust ourselves when we are eating well, to not go week to week, but more to look at something on a more every 3 weeks, every 2 or 3 weeks, okay? Because some weeks we can lose things and some weeks we can gain, but it's all to do with this subject that I'm going to talk to you about now. So water storage, fact or myth? It's absolutely a fact. Of course, there is such a thing as water storage, and there's lots to do with that. So we know that sodium, eating a lot of foods that contain sodium, is a factor of water storage. It can help the body store water. This is really good for times when you're on a holiday, maybe, and you're sweating a lot, or if you do a lot of sport. And these are why people say take isotonic drinks or make your own. So you put a little sprinkling of salt in so your body can retain some water. But have a look at what diet you're eating. If you've been eating a lot of takeaway food, Chinese, Indian, fast food, Kentucky Fried Chicken, all of those type of foods, all of those processed foods that you have in the house, check into the sodium content onto the back of it to see how much sodium you're eating. Too much, and I'll tell you that if you're eating processed food, ready food, most of the time you're eating too much sodium, definitely. You can also be eating too much sodium in tinned food. There's a lot of sodium in tinned foods as well. So, if you are supplementing your diet with some tinned food, just be careful of that. Kind of if you're using beans in curries from tins, then wash the beans before you just put them in. And so sodium, we know, creates water storage in the body. So pregnancy, another one, obvious one really. Pregnancy has water storage in the body, and when you think that we are made up of 50 to 60% of water, then obviously that, if you're pregnant as well, the volume of water will increase, and then weight gain will occur, which is normal, which is obviously we want. But if you can't move much around because of that weight gain, that's when more water storage, edema, occurs, usually in the lower legs, and maybe you find that your rings are hard to get on and things like that. This storage can also happen with hormonal changes when we're premenstrual, or when we are in menopause and our cycle is changing, and we're changing through from perimenopausal to menopause and beyond. So those times we also will experience some sort of bloating as well. So there are remedies that we can do to assist, and I'll talk about those in a moment. We have to look at other foods that do cause dehydration. So caffeine is a big one. That creates dehydration. This causes bloating. Alcohol, dehydration. Sodium, dehydration. Okay, so we need to check in on the volume of that, and that the regulation of our weight will change due to if you're drinking alcohol. If you're drinking alcohol, you dehydrate. You dehydrate quite rapidly. And so for the next couple of days, you'll probably weigh less. But you have to then come back to normal hydration levels, because if you don't, you'll be suffering really bad fatigue, really bad on gastro issues, brain fog, lots of issues. You become like your bones become more less porous, all of those type of things, more brittle. So obviously, your muscles will become less flexible, so you'll become feeling more rigid, inflexible, and so many things happen when you're doing that. So you have to look on that when you're dehydrated, you'll lose that alcohol, you'll lose that water, but when you drink, when your body tries to get back, it's going to hold on to that water, because it knows that you're going to be putting it. It's possible, especially if you're doing it regular cycles, 2 or 3 times during the week. It's never going to let that go. It's going to hold on to that water, because it knows that you're going to put it in a dehydrated state very soon again. So we need to look at that. And what we need to do then is to how do we actually stop that happening? Obviously limiting alcohol, but there's other ways as well. So, and the biggest thing that people tend to do when they are in a water, when they feel that they're storing water, is stop drinking water, which is the worst thing you can do, because what the body needs to do is pass that water out. And as I said, if it's being put in a dehydrated state many times by excessive sodium, excessive alcohol, too much sedentary work, too much eating the wrong type of foods, all your hormones, then and your hormones are all over the place, it's going to hold on. So we need to drink more water to flush that out and be getting regulated on the volume of water that we drink on a day-to-day basis. So be more consistent with your alcohol, with your water there, yeah? Other times that happens, obviously, is when we're abroad, when we go abroad in hot weather, if it's hot weather. So we need to up the water intake again, otherwise the body goes into storage mode and won't allow us to pass that water, which over time, this can create some kidney issues as well. So, and create cystitis and problems like that. So it's really, really important that we do get our water content regulated. This can occur just by checking in on what water we have. All right, so more water, regular amount of water, 2 litres daily, check our sodium intake. Hormones are going to be ever fluctuating anyway. We can't do much to do that, but so that's the time to not take a lot of notice of the scales. Just really focus on, if you're following a lifestyle plan like tracking your calories, it's a really good time to do that, because if you are in hormonal stage like this, water storage will go all over the place, and then it'll put you off, send you on eating rubbish if that's what your default usually is. Let's look at other things that can happen. A big one is airplane changes of pressure on the airplane can affect water storage. So again, when you've been on holiday and you've already had a blast on holiday, and probably drank more alcohol, ate more foods that it's often like, if you go to a fully inclusive, there's often the fast food areas. Then you will have possibly gained water weight there. You will have also probably gained weight through eating more for definite. Then you get on a plane, and the pressure of the cabin also creates water storage. And so when you get off and you come home, if you are on some, and you have been trying to lose weight and then jump on scales, you are going to have to look at the fact that you're storing water on those. So later in the week, so hold your nerve. It's all about holding your nerve. When you get on, you think, oh my word, I've actually gained half a stone. Hold your nerve, go back to your healthy eating, straight on to the healthy eating and more water, and drop into the weigh-in later in the week or even the following Monday, so that you can see that you've given yourself time to lose that water weight. Let's have a look at foods that do store. So foods that store weight, more carbohydrates, even if it's good, does store some more water in the muscle, okay? It's a process that happens, but that doesn't mean don't do it. Just understand that if you're a pound heavier here or there and you've had carbohydrates, then, and good carbohydrates, as opposed, and you've gone from eating none to starting to eat them, and you may just maintain your weight for a week or two before you start losing, because you have changed your diet, you put that good carbohydrate in, and it's gone like that. Now that's why we need a balance of protein and carbs as well, because protein does help in water elimination. So this is where a good balance is really important, because the flip side of that is when people go on high protein diets, they often expel a lot of water, a lot of water weight. Now this, it's been known to have quite high consequences on the kidneys function and can create kidney issues. So you can't get better than a balanced diet, good carbs and proteins every single day on every meal on that. Okay, so it's important, really important. So what other things can eliminate water? More water, as I said. We look at bananas, a good source of potassium, avocados, tomatoes, leafy greens are really good. If you are premenstrual, maybe talk to your doctor about taking more B6, vitamins, but have a word with the doctor as to whether you need those. You can have a little test and have a look at it. So there's the symptoms of all that. We also need to mention exercise and moving around. If you're sitting for long periods of time, there's more chance of you having water storage, or if you're standing, because the gravity keeps the blood in the lower extremities of the body, and we need to move to increase the circulation, which prevents you storing more water in your body. So not too much sitting in the day, definitely not. If you're office space, get up, walk around, do that regular walk, at least once an hour, at least, to go around and move, okay? And especially at lunchtime, getting out. And if you're standing all day, the same. Like, make sure you're not standing still. Make sure you're moving, you're walking around rather than standing in one place, and that will help. Other points, anything? I think we're pretty much signed off on that, actually, on that for now. There are issues. Okay, I am not going deep into what illnesses and medications can cause issues here, but certain medications, certain birth control pills, certain hormone replacement can create water storage. If you're finding that after you've done all those things, you are storing water, and you can usually tell from joint discomfort from that, or you can tell when your hands bloat or your feet bloat, and then you lose that bloat, and you've got a ring and it can turn it round, or then you can't, and they're good signs that your water is fluctuating. But if you find you fully bloated, then do go and check with your doctor for that. And there's certain things so that may be affecting that. Sometimes it can be kidney, heart, liver function, DVTs, and fibroids. So, but then things I'm not going to touch because I'm not qualified enough to speak about those issues. You would need to see a doctor about that. So let's wrap it up there. I hope that's informative for you and cleared some stuff up about those fluctuations of weight. So the answer is keep your water intake steady, always. Don't allow yourself to get dehydrated. 2 to 3 litres per day. Let's get on it. Let's do it. All right. Have a great afternoon.